What role does narrative perspective play in shaping an author's voice? If you're curious about how the way a story is told can influence the author's voice, you're on the right track. Let's break it down to understand this crucial aspect of storytelling. When an author chooses a narrative perspective, they're deciding from whose point of view the story will be told. This perspective is often referred to as the point of view, and it significantly impacts how the story is perceived by the reader. There are three main types of narrative perspectives: first person, second person, and third person. In a first-person narrative, the story is told by a character within the story, using I and me. This creates a very personal and intimate connection between the reader and the narrator. For instance, in J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, the story is told through Holden Caulfield's eyes, allowing readers to experience his thoughts and feelings directly. This perspective helps to develop a strong, unique voice for the character, making the reader feel closely connected to the protagonist. The second-person perspective is less common and involves addressing the reader directly with you. This can create a sense of immediacy and engagement, but is not as frequently used in novels. Third-person narratives are told by an outside narrator, using he, she, or they. This perspective can be further divided into objective, subjective, limited, or omniscient. An objective third-person narrator describes the events without revealing the character's thoughts or feelings. A subjective narrator, on the other hand, can share the thoughts and feelings of one or more characters. A limited narrator knows only the thoughts of one character, while an omniscient narrator has access to the thoughts and feelings of all characters. The choice of narrative perspective influences the author's voice in several ways. For example, a first-person perspective tends to make the writing more active and lively, as it reflects the character's unique voice and personality. In contrast, a third-person perspective, especially an omniscient one, can have a more serious or high-handed tone due to the narrator's broader knowledge. The author's voice is also shaped by their personal background, experiences, and worldview. When choosing a narrative perspective, authors often select the one that feels most natural for the story they want to tell. This choice can make the story feel more authentic and reflective of the author's unique voice. For instance, an author might find that their writing is more engaging and lively when using a first-person perspective, while a third-person perspective might make their writing more serious and detached. In summary, the narrative perspective is a key element in shaping an author's voice. It determines how closely the reader is connected to the characters, the tone of the narrative, and the overall feel of the story. By choosing the right perspective, authors can ensure that their voice comes through clearly and authentically, making the story more engaging and immersive for the reader.